if you have a pattern that calls for basket feet, I want to show you how to do that. I've got one in already. So I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like. It kind of blends into the spoke pretty nicely. And I usually do it on the bottom where the first row it goes under the first row, and then it slides itself the whole way in. Very important that you wet. Don't do the seagrass because it'll fall apart, but you want to wet your basket as high up as you can go to the rim to make sure it's good and wet, and it'll have plenty of place to move. So you kind of work your way around to the corners, and you find a corner where the bottom row is over, because right here you can't start till this row. So I'm going to come to here. It's a little tricky, but what you do is you might need an awl or a fit or something to help you lift and get under. Sometimes the twining kind of gets in the way, but you turn to put it in so that the foot part will be up against the basket when you are finished. So you slide that part in, and for the first few rows, you just kind of press down and wiggle a little, and it'll start to go. Now, if you get to where it's overlapped for when you started, when you stopped your reed, it could get hung up there. So you might have to use this one, that must be doubled. And you just kind of get yourself opened. You might have to do one at a time to push it up. And you want it to get the whole way up, so this part comes right against the base like that one does. And it's pretty much on these taller baskets going to go all the way to the rim for the most part. So you keep pushing. If it doesn't go on its own, you might have to do a little wiggling. You might have to do a little fixing around a little bit. It's not hard to do. It just takes a little bit of finagling, and you got to find the right spot where it's getting caught before it'll push in again. And it's caught on the bottom there. This one didn't quite get there, so maybe on the top. Okay, so there's two of them in. I'll show you one more time. This one actually might have to go under the rim because it's kind of caught there. There we go. That's better. All right, so I'll do one more side. So I'm going to come around to the next corner, and here's the one that's under. So another reason not to be a tight weaver, because this is hard to do when you're a tight weaver. Actually, this is bulking a little bit, but that's okay, because that's probably going to help me get it started. We can always adjust later if we need to. Put it underneath and just start pressing down on there. Usually about this one is where I usually get stuck and start to have to use my tools to help me get underneath them. And I'm just pushing with my hand for the most part. Then I probably have to start, kind of look to see where it's getting caught up on, and lifting to catch it. Okay, so there you go. One more. Next corner that has an over at the corner. Just looks like I'm going to have to lift this one a bit and loosen a little bit to get it started. There's that orange one again. Seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, about the 5th row. That's when it really starts to get snug. All right, it's very possible I started getting a little tighter with my weaving there. Just might be the natural thing. You just notice I'm just lifting with my, oh, there we go. All right, so all of those are flush to the bottom. So when it stands, kind of hard to see it that way, but we can see how it's just ready to go, and you let that dry. And I recommend, since it's on feet, normally what I tell you to do is to dry it face down so the base can dry first. You don't, because if it's usually the one that gets mildewy and you don't want that to happen. But because it's on feet, air will get underneath it, so you can actually, put it like that. If you want to, adjust a little bit so it doesn't tip or toddle or anything like that, you can do that. But there you go. Finished basket.